This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
In our last episode, we discussed the Philippines in the Asian century. It was a global perspective with three Filipinos rooted in the oldest civilizations. We had our guest last time, Iranian Filipino, Richard Jabad, Haydarian writer, international writer, professor sa Ateneo, Benito Lim, Filipino-Chinese, and then we had Hiro Baswani, Indian-Filipino. Now we come back home and to bring to you a discussion on the turmoil going on. And the title of our episode is House of Cards. And our poet will read to you, or from recollection, the biblical passages that contain this theme, and so you would know where we are coming from. Our poet?
Mentong, have you ever tried to build a house of cards?
Well, that's why we're going to ask you to explain
Try
to
it,
us.
and with the first gust of wind,
Okay.
it will crumble and fall because it's made of cards.
Anong sa Biblia yan?
Yeah, according to the priest at the University of the Philippines at the time, because the winning piece of Ponciano Matay in the intercollegiate oratorical contest started with those lines. There were other lines following it, justifying that you should never build a house of cards.
Yes. And the winds are blowing very hard today.
Yes, and the cards are beginning to spread all over the place.
And of course, in the past week, narinig natin at nababasa natin sa mga pahayagan, narinig natin sa radyo, napapanood sa mga balita sa television, yung I think earth-shaking revelations from the Whistleblowers Association President, Ms. Sandra Cam. So this is again the second time, I think this month, that Sandra has joined us. And I think it was a very courageous expose yesterday, particularly that rumor that has been going around for years. And now, I think you might have an affidavit concerning that rumor. Is that correct? Did I read it correctly in the newspapers? So let's hear it from Sandra. Sandra, please.
Well, I submitted an affidavit opposing the confirmation of Secretary De Lima as Secretary of Justice. At part po dun sa aking affidavit, it's a sworn statement. Excuse me. Is about her personal life.
You can have a little hot water. Okay. So anyway, while Sandra is getting back to her composure from the coughing, and Sandra gets very emotional, so we'll give her a few seconds. Let's go to Rod. Rod, you are going to follow up later on the Abad issue. Can you begin with that right now?
Well, ang problema kasi nila, inuuna nila si Napoles. Ang opinion ng marami, isa ako na nagka-concur, is that they should first investigate Abad. Because the outcome of an investigation on the participation, or should we say, involvement of Abad, is determinative kung mangyayari kay Napoles. Kasi kung walang kasalanan si Abad, posible naman magkaroon ng kasalanan si Napoles. Kasi wala namang allegation na si Abad nagnakaw, o nag-falsify, o nag-forge. Lahat ng mga perang tinanggap nila Napoles, pati yung mga kasamahan niya, sila ngayon naging whistleblower. Ino naman yung tinanggap niya kay Abad yun eh. Sa proseso naman nagdaan yun eh. Wala naman.
In other words, hindi magkakaroon ng problema si Napoles kung hindi na-aprobahan ni Abad, lahat ng mga pondong pinag-uusapan. So it's Abad also, and the previous budget secretary ng panahon ni Gloria, sino ba yun at that time? No? I don't
Siya,
know.
kasama
Siya
siya.
pa rin.
Siya pa rin, nung panahon pa siya ni Gloria.
Okay, my memory is now
Member yan ng
refreshed.
Hyatt
Oo.
10, di ba?
That's right, that's right. Oo.
Now, going back to that, dadagdag ko lang ito. Yung sinasabi nila na kung wala silang allegation na nagnakaw yan, actually, di yan nag-release niyan. Si Abad. Ang question is, yung mga tao sa COA ngayon, yung nagsasalita na lahat ng mga releases ng funds without any appropriation under the category of DAP, inaprubahan ni Noy. Impeachable offense yun eh. Kaya namumblema yun ng Korte Suprema kung anong gagawin nila eh. Dahil pagka inabsuelto nila yan si Abad sa issue ng DAP na yan, pagtatawanan ng Korte Suprema niyan. Yan ang comment ko dyan.
Okay. You're writing about that in your column for this next
Tomorrow,
issue?
it will be coming out tomorrow.
This is the Saturday issue. It will
Yes.
come out. Okay.
Previously, nagsulat na ako tungkol kay Abad on that. Kaya sinabi ko in fact, simple lang yan eh. Simple, let me add to this ha. Pag kahit saan korte ka pumunta, tatanungin ka, ano ba ang nawawala sa'yo? Di sasabihin mo pera. Ang susunod na tatanungin sa'yo, magkano ba ninakaw sa'yo? Isang ka nangyayari, pinagtatanungan nila kung magkano nawala. Yung magnanakaw, wala akong alam na ganun. Ang tatanungin yun, ninakawan. Hindi ka pwede magtanong kina Napoles. Ang dapat tatanungin si Abad kasi supposedly si Abad ang nawalan.
Any reaction from the lawyer?
Well, that's a very interesting idea. No? But Rod has a good point. The first person to be asked as to the magnitude of the amount stolen from government should really be Abad, because he was the one releasing these funds. It's quite ridiculous to ask Napoles how much, because Napoles is the one charged with having run away with the money. Now, anyone who is charged with having run away with the money will not mention the truth or the maximum limit. Probably the minute amount that she received from Mr. Abad. Abad.
Bad. Very bad.
Abad.
Okay, well, that's why the House of Cards is being buffered by the strong winds, no? And bad winds pa.
And Abad wins.
A bad wind, okay. So let's get back to Sandra. You've cleared your throat. And
Yeah.
by the way, before we started the program, Sandra was telling us the plight of the whistleblowers. For
Yes.
example, Attorney Melchor
Magdamo.
Magdamo, who was the whistleblower of the super expensive envelopes in the COMELEC. And he's having some difficulty raising the tuition fee for his children.
his
And I
children,
promise that we will see what we can do to help raise funds for the whistleblowers. No? So let's get back to the affidavit. Sandra, are you ready to
Yes.
tell us?
Opo. I executed an affidavit under oath. And doon po sa affidavit na yon, kasama po yung personal life ng ating Secretary of
Now,
Justice.
is it relevant? As a lawyer, is it relevant?
Yeah, it's important because in the confirmation of a member of the cabinet, character is one of the things that should be inquired into to determine his fitness, her fitness for the job. So, that's correct.
Does character cover this issue of conformity with all the legal requirements of a public official? I suppose.
Yeah,
that's-
definitely. It does. It does. And it's good of Sandra to mention that particular matter so that the members of Congress will be taught lessons because many of them do not have character.
I'll get back to that, but let's go specifically, walang paligoy-ligoy. Yung issue of adultery.
It's concubinage, I think.
I don't know the difference. No? For males, it's adultery. For females ba, concubinage?
Yeah.
Okay, sige.
Opo. Ang ano ko doon, dahil sinabi si Coco Pimentel, who happens to be the chairman of the Committee on Justice, Monday pa lang sinasabi na niya sa mga interviews niya na hindi niya ako, haharangin niya ako pagdating sa issue na yan. But
May dahilan bang binigay si Coco Pimentel?
wala, dahil chismis lang daw yun. Hindi pa niya naririnig kung bakit ko nilagay yun. And that's under oath. abogado siya, bar top notcher siya.
So
Dapat
your
naintindihan.
affidavit is under oath, of course, and even before you presented that, Coco Pimentel was saying hindi issue yan, hindi issue
Hindi
yan.
issue yan, chismis yan, ganito, ganito. And it has nothing to do with De Lima's job. I beg to disagree with that because kaya ko inilutang itong dalawang pangalan, it's Cesar Mancao and the driver bodyguard, Ronnie Dayan, dahil it has something to do with her being the Secretary of Justice. Remember that Mancao is under the Witness Protection Program. Nakalagay po siya sa NBI, but nakalabas siya. And I want to ask that question sana kay Secretary De Lima, where is Cesar Mancao now? To give you ano po, na itong si Cesar Mancao may nabuntisan. Sa akin tumira.
So
Okay?
alam na alam mo.
So alam ko lahat, pati yung pag-away nila na nagpasama sa akin doon sa
Nag-away sino? Yung nabuntis?
yung
o
nabuntis, si
yung-
Terry Abbas. Terry Abbas is from Mindanao.
Okay.
Okay? Nabuntisan siya nung mga 5 months ng tiyan niya, wala nang maibigay sa kanya na suporta si Mancao. So, may nagdala sa akin at ako naman ay open naman ang door ko so anybody na maghingi ng tulong. So, nasa akin po siya. Tuwing mag-uusap sila at mag-aaway sila, usually it's in the middle of the night through the early hours in the morning. At speakerphone po yan. At ang sinasabi, nagsisigaw si Terry, yung girlfriend, at sinabi ni Mancao, in fairness to Mancao, kahit sigawan siya, malambing pa rin ang boses niya. At ang sinasabi niya, mahal, pagbigyan mo ko nito. Dahil kailangan kong gawin ito dahil ako'y may kaso. Okay. So, sa dami ng mga stories ng ganon, dumating po sa punto na nanganak itong si Terry Abbas, walang maibigay hindi alam, Cesar Mancao. Actually, she filed a case against Cesar Mancao in Quezon City and I think she won. Yung sa, ano tawag dyan? Support. Tapos po, hindi pa nalalabas sa news na nakatakas si Mancao because sinabi niya noon over the phone sa kay Terry na I don't want to rot in jail. Hindi ako gustong mabulok dito sa kulungan. Then dumating ito naman sa akin, nakapanganak na itong si Terry, nagpasama sa akin sa Divisoria. So papunta kami ng Divisoria, nag-ring ang phone. Nagmumura siya, sabi niya, ating tingnan mo, ito na naman, nabuhay.
Si Cesar.
Sabi ko, sagutin mo. Eh di, sinagot niya speakerphone. Eh di, ang ano kagad ni Terry sa kanya, buisit ka, nabuhay ka na naman. Nakapanganak na lang ako, hindi mo man ako nasuportahan. Ang sagot ni Cesar is, huwag ka nang maingay, mahal. I'm free. I'm out already. Di, nagulat si Terry, anong out? Andiyan ba yung kaso mo? Huwag, basta, mamaya nasa news na ako. Maya-maya nga, nasa news na nakalabas na siya. So,
nakatakas o nakalabas?
Nakatakas siya, but it's a big question mark. Paano siya makatakas? He's under the Witness Protection Program, bantay sarado ng NBI. Nakita ko po kung anong klase ng ang sasakyan na ginagamit niya to the extent na gumagamit siya ng diplomatic plate para hindi masundan. Eh bakit ngayon? Nakatakas sa NBI na tatlo-tatlo ang sasakyan na nakasunod sa kanya.
Now, anong connection yan kay
De Lima. Okay. Ang connection dyan ay yung kanilang intimate relationship. They had a relationship. Okay? And that's the reason why yung jealousy ni Terry, pabakbak ng bakbak, at inamin naman po ni Cesar na may relasyon nga siya. Kaya pabayaan yung muna ako, mahal, dahil kailangan ko to, dahil may kaso ako.
Yung pag-aamin, narinig mo kay Terry o papaano?
Narinig ko po, kasi yan po, nakatutulog sa akin sa baba ng aking kama. Sa isang kwarto lang kami. At dumating po sa punto na nung 2011, and ay mga December yata yon, na supposedly ito si Mancao ay kasama dapat ng 3 days ni Terry. Dumating sa punto na tumawag si Mancao na hindi siya makakasama dahil hindi daw niya mapahindian si Madam.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we'll take this break. It's getting more interesting. Okay. I'm sure you will not turn your dial.